Hello, viewer. Assalamu alaikum. Happy Valentine's Day. I'm Alaur Khandukar and welcome to Shobuj Bangla Television Community Forum. Today, this special episode, we are going English because we will discuss and analyze global community. Let me introduce my special guest today, global voice, writer, columnist, public speaker, member of International Political Science Association, and Chairman Leadership Studies of Bangladesh, Dr. Sinha MSI. Welcome to the show. Assalamu alaikum.
Same to you.
How are you doing, sir?
Fine.
Okay, let's talk in beginning, starting with year 2021. How do you see the world 2021? As you know, this was 2020 was pandemic disaster and overcome. We're hoping 2021 best hope for everyone and 2021. How do you see?
In fact, 2021 is nothing but the continuation of 2020. So what happens in the past year, last year, that is also continuing because we have so many problems in almost all sectors globally, regionally, and nationally, and even locally. So the main problem is the COVID-19. The COVID-19 has created some sorts of agonies, mistrust, and to some extent, misfortune for the whole globally. So 2021 is a very challenging task because in almost all the countries, even in America, you see 2021 has started with a new president in your country. So 2021, you see there Russia and Iran and China rising on the global front. 2021, departure of Donald Trump from the world landscapes. So 2021 is meaningful. There are so many crises in the world, economically, politically, socially, culturally. So 2021 means a new era, a new year, that we have to see what we had in the past and to what extent we can put ourselves on a better footing, and that is a challenging task. So 2021 is also is a road to opportunities and road to understand what the failures we had in the past.
Let's begin with the United States. As you know, yesterday is the second impeachment trial for former President Donald Trump is ended with cannot convicted because of they don't have a 2/3 majority. But favor of 57 vote favor of President Trump was guilty, and 47 said not guilty. What do you think? What your comment on the second impeachment trial?
So first of all, it's very important for the American democracy and the politics also, because 57 doesn't matter. Thing is that the majority vote. If you consider the majority vote in Senate, 57, and they have 50-50, so they got 7 more. So 7 Republicans sided with the Democrats. It means Trump has been challenged even by the Republicans. But thing is that he was acquitted because of non-availability of 67 votes. That is the reality. And it was a foregone conclusion. I told many times in many talk shows that because of the American constitutional constant, it is very difficult to ensure the president will be impeached. But what the logic they have? You see, only 16 hours time was given to the lawyers, Trump's lawyers. They took only 2.5 hours. They finished it. On the base, they have the proposal on the basis of Brandon test. This is a very important test, a test of incitement. So that test failed. They say whether Mr. Trump made a fiery speech to instigate the people, incite the people to commit offense. Yes, but that offense should have been or must be substantial. Everything is proved officially. But the main thing is that you need the vote. Trump has been convicted officially and proved officially, but had there been any majority party theme here, then he could have been convicted. He was acquitted because of simply the number of the votes. But morally, he has been defeated. And morally, America has won the game. So there is nothing wrong. But what happened? Immediately after the verdict or after the result, Joe Biden says, Joe Biden was to some extent, he was very much frustrated because he would like to see more than things. But what Trump did, he says, dark age for America. The president says dark age for America. But what Trump says something new. He says, again, America, see the America in bigger position the next time. So he will take the helms of the Republican Party and he will do something. If need arises, he will be more vigorous and rigorous in policy making, in formulating something new for the Republican parties. So this is very verdict. Even you say, Mitch McConnell, what he says, he did not cast vote in favor of against the Trump, but he spoke against the Trump because his logic is that Trump should be punished, but he did not cast vote in favor of him because of the allegiance to the party. So the American people or the world people in the world must have to think it is a case of party to party case. Trump is a person, but party to party case. But above all these things, he has been twice convicted twice by the House of Representatives, and there is plus point for the whole thing. But with this stigma on shoulders, should he come forward? We don't know, because the very character of the American people is divided now, white and black, and racialism is at the top of the whole thing. So Trump would try his level best to cash it all these things. So this landscape of the senatorial verdict, I think, will not have any effective consequence in the coming days.
Thank you. Dr. Sinha, do you think he could face a criminal charge? Because according to yesterday House Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell said that our criminal system is actually we could go for court. What do you think? He face could be a criminal charge?
Officially, in a parliament system of government, you see, the head of the state hardly can be convicted of criminal charges, but he can be charged of civil charges because he ran the state. Even in you say R versus state. In British system, R means Regina. Regina means queen. The queen versus the state. When queen itself is a part, how can he commit the offense? He cannot. So president in our country also he cannot be convicted of criminal offenses, but civil offenses because party to party, individual to individual, person to person rights. If the president infringes upon the rights of any individual, yeah, he has to face the music, legal music. But criminal offense is something different. He has been acquitted. He has the immune for the whole things. So Macron says he could have been convicted. It is a trial. It is a trial case. So first, let the picture come first, whether possible or not. That has to be seen. But whatever I think all the time, the American Constitution proved again, there must be some sort of amendment to this constitutional article or sections, because if any president in future do the same thing, what will happen? They have to bring about amendment to the whole act, this act to the impeachment act. Impeachment act should have been whether president is in chair or not. President shall be or may be convicted of his crimes or misconduct, whether he is in chair or not. That is the law to be formulated in the coming days. But we don't know if it is possible on the part of the Congress or not, yet to be seen. Thank you.
Dr. Sinha, will you think Biden under Biden leadership lead raise world democracy, and what change are you thinking in Biden will do if for the
Domestically,
war? Yes.
Biden is not in a position to bring about any breeze. He cannot breeze the whole thing because by this time, the Republican Party officially says, we are not in a position to believe you. So they have negated the whole concept of Joe Biden. Think of the world. He's thinking of convening a world congress or conference. It is very difficult. This America with the image, just concrete image, hardly convince the people around the world. The you people need to represent the democracy. You represent democracy, but democracy, Trump in America, no problem. But you people are not in a position to show us that you are the Democrat. No, because Joe Biden has it. Meanwhile, you see, two things important here: American foreign policy and defense policy. Whenever said, I am going to convene international global conference on democracy. Yes, who are you? What is your foreign policy? Defense policy. Your foreign policy, to some extent, is in line with Mr. Trump. In case of China, when Joe Biden talked to Xi Jinping, 2 hours talk, it continued 2 hours. But what he says, he blamed China, Xi Jinping, that you are responsible for three things: Hong Kong, Uyghur, and another was something within the fold. Another one, you say Myanmar, you did not respond accordingly. Another South North Korea. All these things, the Trump says, Biden says, we'll take the matter into account in future, and you will have to be alert, careful of all these things. But what Xi Jinping says, he replied, look, Mr. President, you are not in a position to poke your nose into the affairs of China. It is internal affairs. And who are you to speak? Joe Biden feel the coming days more conflicting with the China. He says, if we are not alert enough, we are not in a position to take the initiative right now, then our lands will be taken by China. What does it mean? Mega project. This is the mega project in the field of oil, gas, railway, and so many things. China is far advancing in Asia BRI, advancing Europe, advancing Africa. So Biden is very much careful about China, and he predicted if America lags behind to compete demonstratively with China, the coming days will be within the pocket of China. It is a prediction. Prediction of the President of America is very important to us. So with this image, you look at Russia, you look at Iran. At this very moment, there is a joint military exercises on the part of Indian Ocean. So Russia-China collaboration very big. Even Iran is almost on the door of nuclear bomb explosion. So against Israel itself is not happy with Biden. Look at the Houthi, Yemen. He says he drove the provision. Maybe tomorrow, day after tomorrow, it will drone. But by this time, Houthi again started droning in Saudi Arabia, on the land of Saudi Arabia, and so many things. In Asia, you see what happens? Asia Pacific strategy. So Joe Biden he asked Xi Jinping, you try to be moderate on this issue. Xi Jinping says, we will try, but same attitude must come from the EU. So it is not the one-sided game. Once upon a time, America is a global power, unipolar world. This world is not unipolar world. So in the multipolar world, so many divisions. Look at the European Union. There is a division. Because when Turkey sent a ship to the East Mediterranean Sea, it was supported by German Chancellor Merkel, which is unique, very unique. So many pockets are here. Economically and commercially, the other countries are rising and growing. The America, it thinks that we are in the old position. No, we are not in the position. A democratic call is very difficult. So Joe Biden says we have to invest more and more billion dollars in the field of big projects. If you want to pipeline your money to the third world countries, you try. Third world country benefited because they will get more money from America and China. There is competition. This competition will bring any better result for America. I am very much frightened about the future of America from this standpoint. America has to face music from different corners: Russian corners, Iran corners, and China. Even in the Middle East, picture is not so conducive for him. So taking all this together, I'm very much convinced, very difficult on the part of Joe Biden to succeed in his call for democratic conference, global democratic conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sinha. Very informative analysis. Let's moving to Myanmar, neighboring country of Bangladesh. The country has been a military coup has been took place on February 1st. After that, the leader of the country, Aung San Suu Kyi, has been detained. Uh, uh, what do you think? Bangladesh and Myanmar have the issue for Rohingya. Will be impact on Bangladesh? Will they take back Rohingya?
This is a very important issue because by this time, the new chief of Myanmar, chief of army chief, who is in charge of the president at this very moment, he says the foreign policy remain unchanged and we will deal the matter with Bangladesh. He predicted, already sent the message to us. It is something, it is a rhetoric, to me, rhetorics, nothing else. Because the fate of Suki is something very different. Because Suki is not accepted to the army, and there will be no election within 1 year. So Rohingya crisis is something is they said foreign policy remain unchanged, but there we have the list of 8 lakhs 90,000, and they have accepted officially only 40,000. So if they start repatriation, slow, crocodile step, not possible. So this problem will remain for a long time, and Bangladesh has to suffer from it. No way, no logic, nothing else. Reality is reality. Reality says, geopolitics says, economics says, these Rohingya people will not be in a position to go back to his motherland. Another thing is important. They will go back to motherland. Look at the Kofi Annan Commission report. There are 5 points up there. So if these people goes there, go back to the position, they will accept him as citizen or not. Now they're stateless. These Rohingyas are stateless. They're neither Bangladeshi nor Mayan, nor Burmese. So where they will go? No way. So there is a debacle in this field. We have to nurse these people. We have to feed these people. And in course of time, they will be assimilated with Bangladeshi people. And that is reality. You will not
Dr.
have a
Sin,
solution. You see,
Dr.
and what
Sin,
happens? Nations? What happens? Human Rights Council, United Nations, again, Russia and China, and some few countries, they abstain from voting. It means China, Russia, and some few countries always with Myanmar. Right or wrong doesn't matter. Why? Because this is called geopolitics, geoeconomics. Whenever you consider the matter, always think of geopolitics. Once upon a time, geopolitics is not so important. But over the 2 decades, it becomes so important. Everything happens. China and America, China and Russia, they try to take hold this strong hold of all these things and challenge for America. I mean, America is trying to have his footing in Myanmar, and they have embargo so many things. New Zealand has sanctioned. It does not matter because Myanmar is a fortified country. It does not care what the Western world says because East Europe, Southeast Asia, and Far East Asia is so developed. There are so many colleges, universities, technologies. They never think of going to Harvard and California. Does not matter. So you have to understand this nation, Myanmar nation. Basically, they are the Buddhist. But which type Buddhist? There are many classes of Buddhist. They are the extremist force of Buddhism in China, in Myanmar. Again, astrology and numerology, very important thing. They believe in astrology. Every general politicians have a fortune teller. Important thing. Whatever they do, first they talk to the astrologers. If you believe in astrology, then what is the free will? You have to go to the deep of the whole things. Even there are so many ethnic crises within Myanmar. So that is being settled by China. China has 21,100 square miles border. India has 40. Thailand has 550. But China is the major player here. They have They have deal and contracts with all the ethnic groups and conflict groups. So China, Myanmar cannot get rid of China. And China will not allow Myanmar because it is a part and parcel of BRI. If you think Indian Ocean is a passage, Malacca Strait. If you want to go to South China, you have to pass the Malacca Strait. Every year, thousands of ships are going there, but it's choke point also. It's very difficult. So China need a route. That's why they created Gwadar in Sri Lanka, Hamburg in Sri Lanka, Gwadar in Pakistan, and Kyokyo in Myanmar. This is the geostrategical fixed points. So if you want to understand the geopolitics in Asia and China role and Russian role here, you have to look into the matters. Why China is so serious? Why Russia is always siding with Myanmar? So keeping these two things together, our national interest, Bangladesh, it is our national interest. Let them go back. Not the national interest of India. India has national interest with Myanmar. The different case. They have four borders, 1400-kilometer border, and four states, Mizoram, Nagaland, and other states there. You know, San State, one of the states of Myanmar, from the San State, 60,000 refugees came to Mizoram. Long time. They did not go back. Arms conflict are there. India is busy to settle the matter with Myanmar. What the importance of India to India to take care of Bangladesh? He is facing problems with Myanmar. They are getting ties, military ties, economic ties. Is the Kaladhan River project, big project. They are having this. So Myanmar has so many multifarious activities. India has multifarious activities. Myanmar, even the Seaway, the first seaport that was built by Indian money, Indians. You must think of it. India is trying to have his footing in Myanmar. So keeping all these things, whenever we think, what do we think? Our interest. Whether they'll go back to Myanmar, it is our responsibility to ensure their citizenship. Why? You people who came from Myanmar, go back to there. Why should you take the risk of telling them? Take him as citizen. Their citizen, not our concern. Our policymaker have to understand whether they're citizen or not. There is the question of Myanmar government. But there are some policymakers in Bangladesh, they think they should be given citizenship. Take it. Don't try to take it. But what mistake they made? The new Janta chief, in his speech, he says, the first time in the history of Myanmar, he uttered the word Rohingya. The Rohingya people, who is looking at Rohingya people, I must say, it is not a mistake, nothing else, or a strategical device. Because they don't recognize, there was 135 ethnic groups there, according to 1982 constitution. So, Myanmar, Rohingya is not a group there. So how can he utter the word? Don't dance listening to it. It is a mistake, it is a trap. So we have to understand our problem with the Myanmar. It will go for a long way. And America will try to boil the water in his own diplomacy. And American diplomacy is always, to some extent, is a very much be bewildering and befolding all the time. It happens in Middle East. It happened in the past in South Asia. It happens during the time of liberation war of Bangladesh. And again, they say, sorry, we could not understand it. This is error and mistakes in American diplomacy and foreign policy. This is a crisis. So rather, Bangladesh should not trust America in this line also, because we are already attacked with so many countries, and China has a strong fold in Bangladesh. Strong fold, tripartite agreement between China, Myanmar, Bangladesh. But China is playing here. They say no problem here. But what happens in the United Nations? Always in favor of Myanmar. So Bangladesh has a very big reality before her. And foreign policy means you have to make the policy on the basis of a national power. And national power is basis on geopolitics, economics, population, strength, education, all these things. We are emerging. We are emerging. And maybe into 2021, Bangladesh may have a chance to be developing country. Second phase. But that is not sure. We have taken time. and 2024, then 2027, Bangladesh officially be the second world country. Long breeze, long gap. There will be so many changes in the government. If there's any election in Bangladesh, free fair election, if there any change in the government policy, so there is another debacle. Because foreign policy remain going on. But depends on the persons who is in power. Most important. The Myanmar junta at this very moment is not friendly with the issues of Bangladesh. So for Bangladesh, it is time consuming. And let us wait and see what happens actually.
Thank you,
Yes,
Dr. Sinha. You have best analysis for Myanmar. Myanmar have a history is last 50 years for dictatorship. We hope in there is a suppression and oppression. People can free from their the current government. Let me talking about a little bit pandemic coronavirus. As you know, coronavirus is affected to the whole world, especially United States and Bangladesh as well. Bangladesh have been report many news media. Bangladesh is buying high price COVID vaccine from India. Do you think the right way to buy from India, from Bangladesh government?
you forget it. Whether you buy from India, buy from Israel, buy for anything, survival of the life. We should never align politics with everything. If we get something from this virus, this vaccine from India, we must take it. Even from Pakistan, we take it because we are Myanmar. We are purchasing rice from Myanmar. Why? Myanmar, we are purchasing rice from Myanmar. Maybe 3 lakh tons of rice from Myanmar. We are purchasing it. Even last 2 years, we purchased it. So it is Indian origin, or it is not the Indian origin. It is not the Indian origin. It is Oxford jointly. So if we spend money, maybe you say more price doesn't matter. Can we ensure getting the vaccine? Billions of dollars are piling to purchase it. Many countries are waiting for it. But Bangladesh government, in this case, Corona case, they have proved it. They can. Because in Bangladesh, still 2.2 Corona rate. It is not the success of the government. Maybe nature is very merciful to it. And Almighty Allah has provided opportunities for the people of Bangladesh. Yeah. Allah Himself has taken the responsibility as He. So vaccine has already entered Bangladesh. People has taken it, including Dr. Jafarullah, the man who is very vocal against it. And he is the man who took it. Jafarullah took it. Other ministers took it. So one by one, you see in the newspaper, when government says on this registration, queue, lakhs of thousands of queue. So that fear is gone. But I do agree with you. There is a business here also. What is the tax of the businessman? Business means either you lose or gain. So some pharmaceutical businessmen are here. They will try their best to have the business. America, same thing. Europe, the same thing. So what wrongs in Bangladesh? Your first agenda is we must ensure that we are getting vaccine from many countries. Even China, they have already started new initiative in Bangladesh. If we get it, no problem. So what wrongs? Price, how many price? Still market is very, very strong here now. You have minded, you have 20 million people. At least you need 100 crore vaccine for 500 crore vaccine you need it, depending on age and so many things. How can you get it? You are looking at money. So forget about the money. Think of life first. America is giving $1 trillion package to his citizens. Why? Because they ensure the betterment of the life. Life is first. Human rights means my survival of the fittest the first. Number one, human rights, number one point is life. Right to life, right to live, right to life. Same thing. So this criticism is not, to me, it is nothing but the botheration at all, political botheration. Thank you.
Dr. Sinha, thank you for that. Let me go the recent all Bengali mainstream media, especially report come from investigative report come from Al Jazeera. Uh, every media, social media talk about that report. Do you think that report? The report must be you probably see this report and analyze this report. You think that Bangladesh image has been questioned to the world?
There is no denying the fact. This is very important to some extent, a cast a slur on the image of the people of Bangladesh and Bangladesh. Because to me, what the report contains, we don't know. The government has officially not allowed the TV channels to telecast anything. So shutting the mouth of the channels, government, few people from the government side are making statements. I talk to some people, very important people. I tell them, have you gone through it? Well, I have gone through it. We have privately gone through it. But general people doesn't know it, don't know it. But there is it, social media, they know it. But government, the first of all thing, what it says, the most important thing, United Nations itself open its mouth. I have seen the statement of the United Nations spokesman speaking. I have seen it. What she says, the matter has been taken into account by the United Nations the first time in history. So United Nations wants to know to Bangladesh what really happens. Because in peacekeeping force, we have 7,500 defense personnel are there by rotation. So by
Highest,
rotation,
highest, yes,
by
highest
rotation.
number from any country. Bangladesh is the highest number.
So this number means by rotation, one group coming, another group joining. So this has brought some sorts of relaxation in the army because it's a big amount of money they're getting. Image plus image of the Bangladesh army. So United Nations raised the question: if it is false or not doesn't matter. ISPR has given a statement, but United Nations also taken to note it, and they have decided even to talk to our chief of staff because their immunity, if the chief of staff of a country carries some image, it can hamper here. The question is whether you have purchased the device from Israel or not. Bangladesh says they purchased it from Hungary. The Hungary is not a country to sell it. So mostly America, Israel, or European, some European countries. US is Hungary. The thing is that we have no diplomatic relations with Israel, but we purchased it. But what Bangladesh made is the wrong statement. Bangladesh says we have purchased the devices for our personnel in the UN forces. United Nations says there is no provision to use such things in the United Nations. So Bangladesh contradiction is there. Second contradiction with United Nations. First thing is that Al Jazeera says, the first of all, we send the note to chief of staff. Do we have delegation against you? And deadline, you just respond within this time. But our chief of staff did not carry it. Without carrying it, he led for America. So there is a provision. Bangladesh, some minister says, will file sue against Al Jazeera. I do agree. If there is false, you file sue. But problem is that when you file sue against Al Jazeera, the court first question is, Al Jazeera, have you asked the gentleman involved here? You have delegation. Al Jazeera say yes, this is the documents. We informed you, he did not reply. So your scope for legal litigation is very small. At the same time, there is a written High Court, an appeal to the High Court to ban Al Jazeera in Bangladesh. Very difficult. Al Jazeera, it belongs to Amir of Qatar, mind it. And somebody is trying to make correlation between Jamaat Islam. But Amir of Qatar, is he Jamati?
Absolutely not.
Is he Jamati? Does he need anything for Jamaat Islam? One of the richest countries in the world, highest per capita, richest country. Why should think of Jamaat? So many light arguments are here, and few journalists, few intellectuals are talking in front of it. But to me, it is a challenge from United Nations. And they says they have at least 10 cassettes. One has been published. 10 cassettes. So what will happen to them? You
Nine
have to
more
prove
to come in.
more are coming. At the same time, Chief Justice Sinha, but that Sinha is not my relation. First of all, I'm Muslim. He is not Muslim. What he saying? He interviewed. He's interviewing. So he's telling so many secrecy. What he talked to the president, prime minister. It's coming, and there are so many social medias outside Bangladesh. It is the number one topic, and some advocates from Bangladesh, I mean, proponents from Bangladesh or advocate for this issue, they are talking. But I observed few. I saw the few talk shows. But the persons who are talking in favor of against that report, they're not investigating. So what is investigative, non-investigative? The definition in journalism. International standard is there. So you are talking in social media. But actually, Al Jazeera is not a local
Yeah,
television.
especially so many ministers. I can quote some name
I,
information ministers as well. Say Al Jazeera took economic benefit from publish this news. And what do you think about Army Chief of Bangladesh and image of Bangladeshi Army in the United Nations and even for the country?
beyond question it is. Because by this time, what happened? After publication of this report, there are so many negative impressions already started because government is not in a position or not, he has taken any pragmatic initiative to prove it is wrong or right. So they are giving verbal statements. All the ministers, all the Awami League leaders and intellectual groups, verbal statements without any profound analysis of the whole thing. I have seen so many interviews, so many talks of them, and they're very light discussions, and that is the problem. The, so you need the strong voice here. So government has made another mistake, Bangladesh government, because persons talking in against this report are not so equipped with information, not so intellectual capacity. Even the way of talks, way of styles are so weak that the counterpart wins every time. So social medias had made a revolution in this field. So I am against this type of report indeed as a Bangladeshi people. But my question is that it is a matter between Al Jazeera and the people concerned. We are not a party to it. Let the people who are involved, supposedly involved in this process, or Al Jazeera feel they are the people, prime minister's man, this says. So let the matter settle in that way. I asked the information minister, Mr. Hassan Mahmood, in a state of boiling the water negatively, as a citizen of Bangladesh, I request you, I want to see you officially documented proof Al Jazeera made a mistake and they made a conspiracy in Bangladesh. I am with you. I'm the number one man to speak in favor of you. But in way of talking, you are saying anything happens, Jamaat. Anything happens, BNP. Stop it, music. This will not help you to get rid of the circumstances. Not all the time. This is the report made by Al Jazeera, one of the leading international house owned by Amir of Qatar. They don't care Saudi Arabia. You know what happens that time? So
Right.
what is the Bangladesh technology? You prove it. That's why my saying is that United Nations has already knocked it. This is the first time international has become a party. About 7 to 8 international human rights organizations. They request United Nations to take the matter into serious consideration. If it does so, then it stops saying all this thing. The planning minister says, we'll file sue. We'll let us see you file sue. The person is a barrister. He made a plea to the High Court. Al Jazeera should be banned. Never be banned. Because High Court has logic. They have some criteria. If you want to ban it, you have to prove those messages, reports are wrong. That the government has to provide the materials to the High Court. Instead of provide the High Courts, so why don't you allow the Bangladesh channel with all the materials to pass to Bangladesh channel? So let them talk. It is not a matter to be settled by the court. Media is not within the court of the court. This world is very big, hands are very high. So many things, so many channels, so many knocks. As I do not know everything in the details of it, I have seen two video clip in the social media. So I am in the dark. What happens? If you say Dr. Sinha has done this, it is my responsibility to reply you. Instead of this, I told my friend, you reply it. So my friend, without knowing my fault, he is pleading, he is talking in front of me. Then what is the response? Is it state? No, 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 this is not a state. I request the Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina that you never allow anybody to contaminate your image of Bangladesh. We believe you are far away from you, all these things. So the people around you, if it is true, more or less, then you take decision. You take decision from your standpoint. Say, no, I will prove if there is any wrong, I will take action. That is the message. Don't criticize Al Jazeera. But if you criticize Al Jazeera, if you ask me to criticize Al Jazeera, I must tell you, you ask the media with all the document to say so. So this is a problem.
Yes, Dr. Sinha is in fact Al Jazeera's report. General Aziz was 2014. He was a BGB head of BGB, and 2018 he's a chief of army, and he supported the dictatorial electoral system and protect his brothers. So this is you cannot deny that. This is a fact. Even his own conversation, if you look at the video, he talking. She say he say his brother say we control the minister. We control the prime minister. Say whatever I want I can do it. It's absolutely that's report. Bangladesh government have to comply the report. Let's talk in the real fact. 50 years
I
of Bangladesh independence, people have lose right to vote. What
I
is
have
your
I,
statement about that?
I have seen that video.
Yeah.
So you want to
Today
challenge
is our what standpoint 50 years of Bangladesh, our democracy right now. People have lose the right to vote. What's your comment about that in 50 years anniversary of Bangladesh?
if there is any device, either from Israel or Hungary, doesn't matter. But what is the device? Even WhatsApp is not safe. Your all conversation communications are being tapped or being passed to some intelligence network. Then the life of the citizens under the espionage system. What happens in a democratic country? Aumil is in power, doesn't matter. Maybe tomorrow morning another party is maybe power. Then Aumil will speak the same way as I am talking now. Think of the nation first. Life of the citizens are at stake because they are with under the fold of intelligence network. This is a threat to democracy, threats to human rights, all these things. So government has to prove Al Jazeera, all are lies. All are lies. Then we are happy. Yes, government has proved. Instead of proving it, in a state of taking legal action if possible, some people are against this without knowing in fact what is happening. Another 9 cassettes are coming. They says, if the 9 cassettes are coming, those people do not know what are within the coming. Maybe in the next few cassettes, the people who are shouting now, maybe their names are there. It may be.
Maybe.
So in a state of taking so much risks, I request all the intellectual peoples in Bangladesh, for and against, you know the first what the report is. We don't like to see the cassette from Al Jazeera. We like to see the cassette from Bangladesh satellite channels. Al Jazeera says so, then we'll open our mouth. If wrongs, we stand by the government of Bangladesh. So I request again to the government of Bangladesh, that I mean information minister, planning minister, please be practical. World is very wide, and you people, for your mistake, or your lack of strong sense of communication, don't try to put the Prime Minister into further trouble. I would like to see Sheikh Hasina free from all these things. This is my expectations. I don't know what will happen. My expectation is that let Sheikh Hasina be away from all these things and let the things be proved documentarily that our Prime Minister is above all these things. Thank you.
As you know, Dr. Sinha, also there is a seven or more than seven human rights organization, world
I,
organization asking for United Nations for fair investigation. Bangladesh government cannot deny this report until proved. Do you think the next election and Bangladesh coming election can be fair, freely, people can vote? Because of 50 years of Bangladesh celebrating and people cannot vote. It's a fact. Media is saying people cannot vote. People is completely the government since 2014. This government going for dictatorial system.
you are talking about Abraham Lincoln, government of the people, by the people, for the people. Yes, government of the people, by the for the people, because there is election. There is election. So many elections are going still. So if you say government is with the election, no, government is with the elections. You say whether election is free and fair. We are in democratic country. There is democracy in Bangladesh. You say the standard of the practice of democracy in Bangladesh. Our point is standard. Whether standard of election, holding election is proper, or standard democracy proper. But there is a democracy in Bangladesh. Elections are Bangladesh. Everything is there. So point is that free and fair. Free and fair. But whether the election is free or fair, that is the moot point. So here I saw so many things are here. Even the Chief Election Commission says America has many things to learn from us. He feels. Our health minister says what Bangladesh thinks today, America thinks three years later. So
It's
there's so
funny.
many things going on. In so I said this is the state is the state. The state is something different. Sitting in the chair, you talk very responsibly, accountably, so that image of the country, a minister carries the image of the government and the country. He should think of it, what he's talking about. Yes,
Uh, as you know, the recent report come from a list of ineffective country. Bangladesh is number 12. An ineffective country, corruption behind destruction of image of country, dictatorship, and must many issues in this report came. Uh, is already is there in even the corruption list. Bangladesh list is a near like Bangladesh is gaining number one. I believe is there is a number is probably under 10, the Bangladesh number, which is this government, Sheikh Hasina keeps saying, Prime Minister, my government is transparent, my government is democratic, I protect right to vote. And as you know, there is a many disparence. Bangladesh has been over 3,000 people. They don't know where they are. Their family is still waiting. What do you think? Is a democratic state? Is
you're
the
talking
call?
about ineffective states. Which
Ineffective
organization?
state is a number 12 in the report.
What is the name of the organization? Who published it?
Is a world some organization they have
Come,
Transparency
come, come,
International.
come to the point of the whole thing. You see the play of the world. Once upon a time, Foreign Policy magazine, America, they are publishing failed listed concept with 10 index, 12 index. I wrote 5 articles on it. The failed listed concept is a wrong concept. No state is failed because a state has to prove simultaneously all the components are working. No, never all the components are working. Even a human body is not free from disease. Some disease must be there. So failed state concept is I challenged it. So many people challenged it and see over the time. Now they are saying not the failed state, collapsible state is concept. They deviated from the original concept. And you say ineffective state. There must be definition of ineffective state. A state become ineffective when Bangladesh government is not even effective. No criteria. Government is working. Law and order is working. Everything is working. Parliament is there. How can you say ineffective? Officially, you cannot prove it. You say the degree of democracy, degree of human rights, degree of fairness are degrading. Yes, I do agree. So those organizations, even they do not know how to define the things because they have the strong organization the globally. That is not the issue. The very definition of ineffective state has to be understood fast. What do you mean by it? And what the serial number I am? I don't care it. I don't care it. I am not in effective state. So you try. You try to encircle within all the definitions. Not possible. I do agree with you. From the point of human rights, yes, we are downgrading. From the point of view of democracy, downgrading. Point of the institutions, downgrading. Point of education, downgrading. Norms and values, downgrading. I agree. But downgrading to what extent? It's a level of standard. We should have been here. We are now here. This gap. But we are not at the bottom. If you are at the bottom, you cannot run a single day. It is not the Manhattan. It is the Brooklyn of America. There are so many places in America which is controlled by mafia groups. You cannot move freely there. Bangladesh, it is not. That's the Noam Chomsky says America's number one failed state. Why? There are 70 intelligence networks there. You have devised. Israel has devised it. America has devised. Why America has this device? America has devised. Watergate conspiracy, no? It happened in America.
Yes.
All the instruments are in the hands of America. Bangladesh government is purchasing something from different countries. Maybe Israel. Israel is such a country, technologically is very high. Very genius people there. You look at the Nobel Prize. Many men go to them. Why? Because they're studious. Research or bent of mind. The Muslim people say Israel is bad. I don't. You say bad. You prove that you are better than him. Whether better doesn't matter. Our approach should be, you are better not. I am better than you. That is the approach. If you want to go ahead. So ineffective state, not state. You say Human Transparency International. So what it is? How they define corruption? They have perception index. They never say Mr. Karim and Rahim made the corruption. No, they say there is a corruption perception in the organization. Perception on the basis of some documents and fix. This is the tools for the think tank groups. I have gone through many things in the world and I have seen different angles, different things are going on. These are the innovative. I do differ with this organization. On the basis of your criteria, I am ineffective. The country where you are standing, what about this country? You tell me first. So before anything you analyze, you must define what is what do you mean by ineffective state? Bangladesh is not ineffective state, effective state, but effectiveness is not so strong. Parliament is here, is not so strong. Election here, not so strong. That is the concept. Here, if ineffectiveness does not work, I do differ globally this concept. This is a wrong concept, wrong analysis, and people associated with this group, you think again and again. As Foreign Policy magazine thought, 5 articles I wrote on it. You know, not a single state is failed. Collapsible state, weak state, you say. Thank you.
Dr. Sinha, last question we are about the time. 50 years of Bangladesh, as you know, recently Shahid President Ziaur Rahman, who declared independence, he was a freedom fighter, who was as a sector commander, he was a commander of jet force, He was a former president. Now 50 years of Bangladesh, they are called Jamuka. They're asking to remove his Biruttam Khatab. What do you think? The 50 years as a freedom fighter, what there is a demonstration going. There is a many. I see every social media, every mainstream media talking about this issue for last couple days. What your opinion? What your comment on this? This is my last question to you today.
I just point out the thing. I draw your attention to the fact who is the সর্বকালের শ্রেষ্ঠ বাঙালি সন্তান, তার নামটা কি? হাজার বছরের শ্রেষ্ঠ নাম কি? আমি আপনাকে জিজ্ঞেস করতেছি।
According to BBC report, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman.
বঙ্গবন্ধু শেখ মুজিবুর রহমান। ওখানে 21 জনের নাম আছে। এরা সবাই হাজার বছরের শ্রেষ্ঠ সন্তান। এক নম্বরে কি আছে? ফাদার অফ দ্য নেশন বঙ্গবন্ধু শেখ মুজিবুর রহমান। বাট হি ইজ নট দ্য অনলি ওয়ান।
জিয়াউর রহমান
19 নম্বরে জিয়াউর রহমান। বিবিসি সেই রিপোর্ট বলতেছে হাজার বছরের শেষ সন্তানের মধ্যে 19 নম্বরে জিয়াউর রহমান। যদি সেই রিপোর্ট দিয়ে আপনার কথা বলেন যে বঙ্গবন্ধুকে কইছে 1 নম্বরে, তাহলে জিয়াউর রহমানও কিন্তু 19 নম্বরে থেকে শ্রেষ্ঠ সন্তান হয়ে যায় কিন্তু। তাহলে ওটাও ক্যান্সেল করে। বিবিসি ক্যান্সেল করতে বঙ্গবন্ধু থাকে না। আমি যেটা বলতেছিলাম, জিয়াউর রহমানকে যদি বলা হয় আওয়ামী লীগ যেটা বলে অন বিহাফ অফ বঙ্গবন্ধু আপনি বলেছিলেন, বিএনপি বলে নেই। আমি আওয়ামী লীগের সাথে একমত, ওটা বঙ্গবন্ধু হবে। ওই সময় দেখেন,
no, there is a two statement. One is the first he said I head of the state and declare independent of Bangla. After that he correct and include Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman.
Sorry, I am giving reference documentarily. I was then news reader of Radio Bangladesh external services, Mr. Belal. He was then in charge of the Chittagong station. He wrote a book.
Right.
So first time Ziaur Rahman came there, they requested him to declare. He said no. But suddenly he appeared there and say, give me paper. Belal Bhai told me, we just give me a piece of paper, white paper, give me pen. He wrote it. I do declare Jia to be the president of Bangladesh. They said, no, sir, you cannot do it. The second time, I do Jia on behalf of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujib. Okay. If the second one is the document of the history, can Awami League deny it? Bangabandhu say anything to Jia? Jia was given the highest award, military award in Bangladesh. Living personality. The best one is Bir Shrestha, the person who died is only for the dead persons. So Jia that period. So he was the jet force commander. So what says the other groups? Jia did not take part in the war. The army generals, they know very well. Even the colonel knows very well. The Sibal Habildar knows. Commander never take part in the war. He's the commander. He's in a commanding position. He says do and do this. Even Habildar never shoot. It is soldiers. It is classified. There is a company, there is a battalion, also many things. So you say Jia did not fight in the war. Yes. Why should he fight in the war? Should he carry the gun? Should the general carry the gun? Chief of Staff carry the gun? GOC carry the gun? No. He's the commander. He's a commander. So commander is commander. But whether he is in the front or not doesn't matter. So whatever I think, Jia has been given this grand treat can be taken away. There is a proposal from Jamuka.
Who's the Jamuka?
Jamuka is not. It is a body.
It is a minister.
No. Jamuka has no legal validity from the point of unless it is accepted by the government. They made the proposal. It will go to the Ministry of War Freedom Fighters Mr. Minister. They will decide it. They'll pass it to the Prime Minister. So many steps are there. So some things he is going to be declared. No, decision must come from the head of this government. Awami Chief Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. But actually, he is the head everywhere. So whenever he take decision, then you say. Second thing you say, Ziaur Rahman responsible for giving passage to those groups who killed Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. But what history says, it is Khaled Musharraf He paved the way for the departure to Bangkok. And there was a ransom. They took the wife of Khalid Musharraf with them so that plane may not be crushed. Go to the history first. So to me, GI is not issue. It's not issue. If you say Jamaat Islam, so why don't you ban Jamaat Islam? You will never ban
Right.
it. You will never ban it. It is a political rhetoric. Zia Rahman, the moment is declared, you take his gallantry. Gallantry. You may take it, doesn't matter. Somebody says, what happened to Suchi? Has Nobel Committee taken away the Nobel Prize? No. It is given for the contribution for that period. Jia's contribution is a part of history. Each and every freedom fighter, part of the history. Even the Indian soldiers or the generals, the
Absolutely.
brigadier officers, part of the history. They have been given many awards by the Bangladesh government. Should another government come and say, give back to us? This is a nasty politics indeed. We have many problems in the hand, with many challenges on the hand. Some people are playing with this, misguiding the prime minister. So those should be stopped. If you say GI is right or wrong, then you say GI is not. History is that Khalid Musharraf paved the way for the departure for Bangkok. And they take the wife of Khalid Musharraf as a ransom so that flight may not be crushed. Part of the history. So you talk to all the jet force, there are eight forces.
Yes.
S force, jet force. This day you take the jet force, another will come, they will take the X force, Y force. What does it mean? Go to the deep of the history. Time will come, there will not a single freedom fighter in Bangladesh who will be benefited. Who wants it? Those are playing, boiling the water. Ask it again and again. If Jia's award is taken away, doesn't matter. Day after tomorrow, Shobuj will taken away. Day after tomorrow, this way, this way. If they are taken away, then there is nobody in the history of Bangladesh who declared independence on behalf of Bangabandhu. It is deleted from the history. Then the next generation, they say, no, nobody declared. Declare on behalf of Bangabandhu. That is history. Name will come
Right.
Bangabandhu. So Sheikh
Right. Right.
Hasina is very, very logical, farsighted, statesman-like attitude he has. He is just seeing all these things. Sometimes he enjoys the playing and counter playing. He's seeing
Hmm.
this. But some bad people says it is just to give another to turn the crisis to that period, because there is a crisis of Al Jazeera. Now we
Yeah.
talk of Jio, but
Oh,
fortunately, so many things are there.
yes.
So
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
everybody, each and every freedom fighter is a part and parcel of the war of liberation, whether Jia or non-Jia. What they did later, even his name is not in the case of Bangabandhu killing. Jia name is not there.
We know that.
So you must prove there also that Jia is a part of the conspiracy. We must hate him. We don't like to
We,
see that Jia is a part of the killing of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. He's the father of the nation. But you don't show the proof. This proof come to the court. You pass it court. This is the proof are there. Without proving anything, you don't blame it. Because if you blame today, tomorrow will not be yours. Or day after will not be yours. Then the next government, if it is BNP or Jatiyo Party, whatever it is, if there is constitutional transformation,
right.
if there can, it is BNP. It is constitutional transformation, BNP or Jatiyo Party. No other
Thank
party.
you. Thank you
So I
so very much, Doctor.
the the people who love Bangladesh, who are the freedom fighters, who are the patriots, and who believes in the sovereignty of Bangladesh in total, please raise your hands and heads in favor of safeguarding the sovereignty, national identity of Bangladesh. And thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Sinham Said. I also seen yesterday was Major Hafizuddin Bir Vikram statement, Major Shahjahan Umar Bir Uttam statement. They're saying is that Jia was a war hero. He was a only commander and a front line. Anyway, I hope Bangladesh government learned from many mistakes. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for watching this week. Very special episode of Community Forum. I really enjoy to talk to Dr. Sinha MSI about many issues. Global, we talk about global community, especially United States, Myanmar, Al Jazeera, Bangladesh, and many more. We'll talk in the future. I hope everybody enjoy. Everyone has a good day, and please stay safe. And thank you again. Please remember to leave a like and share. And I'll talk to you soon. Allah Hafiz.
Allah.